What is up, everybody? Ray and Brennen here with another episode of Franchise Tag Fantasy Football, bringing you the Monday night recap.
Yeah,
the two games we had two games we got to see tonight, and some waiver wire ads, some of the key waiver wire ads, and some injury news and whatnot. Because there's some big injuries that happened today. Let me tell you, really, really brutal ones. But let's talk about Brennen. Let's talk about the Steelers. Or I'm sorry, the Saints game that we've got to watch first.
Yeah, I know you want to talk about the Steelers first. That was a better game because this one was just, it was bad. It was a defensive, slow game. So this is going to be a typical Saints team. They're just going to barely tread water, be ahead of teams. And I can see a lot of this happening. So you started Olave. He didn't kill you. He didn't do great, though. I mean, he had that one so close to being a touchdown. I know Ray's a little upset about that, but it is what it is. Michael Thomas showed out, though. He had 9 targets, 7 receptions. Rashid Shaheed wasn't too bad if you did start him in a pinch. 4 receptions, 63 yards. And then I think we'll talk about it, but Jamal Williams probably won't be a thing next week. It'll probably be Tony Jones because Jamal Williams left the game. So, and tight end wise, Taysom Hill is very involved in this offense.
Why? Why? It's so stupid. Every time he touches the ball, I'm like, that's one less time that you could have got the ball to a true difference maker like Chris Olave. Why?
I mean, 9 carries for 75 yards is impressive, though.
I hate all the Taysom Hill packages that they have. I hate them all. I've never liked them. I want to talk about Michael Thomas real quick, just real fast. Disgusting if you started him. Disgusting if you're still on that train. Shame on you. Derek Carr loves Michael Thomas. But it's weird because at the second half of the game, he really wasn't getting targeted at all. But the first half, my God, all the targets went to him. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Give Chris Olave a chance, right?
It's close in targets. So Olave had 11. Michael Thomas had 9. So you can start Michael Thomas, I would say, pretty comfortably in the flex if this is going to be the case. I know it hurts you, Ray, but that's the truth of it, unfortunately.
It is disgusting, and I refuse to sign off on that. Rashid Shaheed, I think, needs to be rostered too, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And then on the Carolina side of the ball, Bryce Young needs playmakers. Them trading away DJ Moore really shows because Adam Thielen led this team in targets, and he had 7 receptions for 54 yards and a touchdown on the 2-point conversion. But Jonathan Mingo had 8 targets, but only 3 catches. DJ Chark only had 1 target, 1 reception. And then Hayden Hurst, I know if you guys went to Waiver Wire and streamed him for the week, he probably didn't really do anything for you or hurt you, but 3 receptions for 20 yards. So, yeah, this is going to be a rough year for Bryce if he doesn't get any kind of playmakers. So I would try to avoid Carolina players at all costs because Miles Sanders gave you a big dud too with 14 carries, 43 yards, and then 3 catches for 4 yards.
He didn't look very good either. And I think that's pretty much what I've thought. Like, that was a good definition of how I think Miles Sanders is going to be for the majority of the season because the offense is going to struggle. That's just is what it is, both because Bryce is a rookie and because there's not very many playmakers, you're right, on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
I will say that is Terrace Marshall hurt?
No.
Why do they keep rolling DJ Chark out there? Get him the hell off the field. What are they doing? Like, Terrace Marshall's a good receiver. DJ Chark is not. Like, stop this. Stop this nonsense.
He was a part of the 2016 Jags when Blake Bortles carried 2 wide receiver ones with Allen Robinson and him, right? He was a part of that?
Wasn't it Allen Hurns?
Allen Hurns, my apologies.
Yeah.
DJ Chark was the wide receiver 1 for Jacksonville for a little bit. But yeah, it's rough.
He had a small bright spot in the sun, but those days are behind him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not very good.
It's weird. Chuba Hubbard's the 2-minute drill running back. So
why?
It's
who cares?
Yeah, I don't know if you're rostering him, but yeah, yikes.
I think Adam Thielen will be okay in full point PPR format, so I think he'll be fine. He'll be a decent flex, something to fall back on in case you have some injuries. So, anyways, let's stop talking about that game because it sucked. The next game on the docket we were talking about here earlier, the Pittsburgh Steelers played the Cleveland Browns. And as the resident and biggest chubb truther that's ever existed in the history of mankind, watching this man's knee implode. Just nothing hurts more. Nothing. I have no shares of Nick Chubb. None.
It just hurt to watch. He's just such a good dude. Like, he just puts his head down, runs hard. Like, everyone loves him. Like, and everyone says that, like, he was a great person, great team leader, and everything else like that. Unfortunately, Steelers won 26-22. Yeah, Nick Chubb probably is done for the year. He's been reported already. It's a pretty gruesome play to go watch. They didn't show the replay, and I'm very glad they didn't, because obviously you'll probably all see it, but it was pretty gross.
Oh yeah, if you guys want to see it, just drop it in the comments. I'll drop the TikTok that I have. You can watch the whole thing.
No, thank you.
If you ever saw the first time that he completely destroyed his knee when he was in South Carolina,
Georgia.
that's exactly what he did right now. Literally the same thing.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. So I
think
think it might
he bounces back.
See, that's the thing, is if it's the same knee, no, that's going to be very difficult for him to come back from. Like, obviously, he is a different kind of human being, a different like level of athlete, and a different like breed. But that is so tough. Like, just that sucks. I love Nick Chubb. That sucks.
Yeah, I agree with that. But we can talk about the game now here.
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson's bad.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson's very bad. I mean, 22 for 40 for completions, 235 yards. Carried the ball. He likes to leave the pocket when he doesn't need to, and you discussed this with me too, and I agree with that. Like, I don't know if it's because his O-line is not as great, but like, and then Steelers D-line is pretty good with TJ Watt, but like, he left the pocket unnecessarily so many times in this game.
Yeah, like I didn't really understand it. Like, it looked like he was scared of what was happening, but like, there was multiple times, especially towards the end of the game, because they were only sending 4, where he had a clean pocket, yet decided that he wanted to kind of try and bounce it out. But like, I can tell you, and this is just something I've noticed since I've watched a couple games of Deshaun Watson now being back, he is not the same level of athlete that he was before his suspension. No. He's not. He is not as elusive. He doesn't have anywhere near as much the burst that he had when he was with Houston. And I think that that's what he's trying to rely on, and it ain't there. And I don't know what that is. I'm not sure. But outside of that, Deshaun Watson probably shouldn't be started right now. Should not be relied on to be started right now.
Yeah, if you have other options, I would definitely look into that. But
yeah,
let's talk about the running back side of the ball. Jerome Ford, obviously, he took over the backfield. We'll talk about him later in the show. He had 16 carries, 106 yards, 3 receptions for 25 yards. He had one big carry that's kind of boasted the stats up, but I think we'll talk about him later in the waiver wire ads. He'll probably be the guy going forward. If somehow you were smart enough to keep Amari Cooper in your lineup, or you just forgot, kudos to you, because he went off. 10 targets, 7 receptions for 90 yards. Kind of crazy.
Thanks there, Amari Cooper. You're the best. Because of him, I didn't start George Pickens, because I was like, Elijah Moore is going to get all this work, and I trust Deshaun Watson. Man, sometimes, man, you get a tough beat. You really do. You leave 100 points on your bench. That's
pretty tough. But you're not the only person though that I know that left some points on the board. Like, I know somebody left DeAndre Swift, and I forgot Christian Kirk, and then a few other players on my bench.
No, yeah, I left DeAndre Swift, Puka Nacua, Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, all on my bench.
Oh, that's rough. But yeah, man. Elijah Moore, if you did start him, obviously Ray can tell you about it, but 3 receptions for 36 yards, 9 targets. So, I mean, he's still getting the targets. He's right next to Amari. It's just not, the ball's not accurate, unfortunately. Njoku, I mean, he's still okay starting-wise. He had 4 receptions for 40 yards. He had a fumble, which is like a crazy play. It literally, right about to touch the ground, the dude just knocks it out. It was like a bang-bang play. So
a costly fumble, too, because they scored on that drive.
It did, yeah.
But I don't know, man. If it's not Cooper and it's not Jerome Ford, I kind of don't really want a whole lot of pieces of the Cleveland offense right now. Maybe Njoku, you're right. Maybe he's getting targets. He's getting used. He lines up wide a lot.
He does.
But man, outside of that, I don't want no part of this offense right now until Deshaun Watson figures it the hell out. Like,
yeah,
he has just not looked good. I don't know.
Yeah, and then on the Steelers side, if you started the Steelers defense, congratulations. They put up 20 points. You did win. They were going bonkers. Deshaun Watson was getting sacked unnecessarily, so That's what helped him out. Kenny Pickett, again, I'm not sure. I don't know if he's bad or if he's, not, getting help from O-line. He's 50% completion, 15 for 30, 222 yards, touchdown, interception. He had a couple carries, then obviously he nailed the ball because they won the game. But Jalen Warren needs to be the starting running back for this team. It's not even close. It's not even close. Najee Harris is like, when you watch Najee run, it's slow. It's like in slow motion.
Yes. It's not good. It's not the good.
No. Do you have any comments towards Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, Ray?
I want Jalen Warren to start so bad, but it's not going to happen. And you know what? To be honest with you, maybe it's just the fact that the Steelers don't see him as an every down back, and that could be a thing. That could be the real deal. Who knows? But Kenny Pickett didn't look good. Didn't like what I saw. The only thing I did like when I saw, man, George Pickens is good. Yeah. God damn, is he good? Imagine.
Yeah, it's crazy. He had 10 targets, 4 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Like, the dude is ridiculous. Like, they need to get him the ball way more. I know it's 10 targets, like that's double digit, but like he needs to be a little more accurate. Even if it's screenplay, something. The dude's yak is crazy. He's just got a breakaway speed.
It's that, and he just plays with some sort of like bald-headed aggression that like you don't see it very often. You don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Steelers defense going forward most likely is going to be a start. I think they're probably going to be the start of what you need to have for the rest of the season until TJ Watt cools the hell down.
Never gonna. The dude's just got a motor. They play the Raiders next week, by the way. So
yes,
fire him up.
Yeah, go ahead and spend some fab on that. Do it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, anything else?
Pat Freiermuth, how do you feel about him?
Tight ends suck, so keep on keeping on.
1 reception for 2 yards. And then he had that same exact stat line last week, but it was a touchdown. So if you started him last week, you were saved by that touchdown. But this week, I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't know what you're going to do with him.
I don't know either.
You spent the draft capital on him. He should be more involved in this offense.
Especially without Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
He should be getting 8 targets a game. Like, if you told me without seeing the game that Pat Freiermuth got 8 targets, I'd be like, oh, that sounds right. That doesn't even sound crazy to me.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah. Kenny Pickett throwing the ball 30 times and George Pickens getting 30% of that's just wild. 30% of that is ridiculous. So, but yeah, he needs to spread the ball a little bit more with George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth because he's a very good tight end.
Imagine if George Pickens got 20 targets.
Like Puka Nacua.
Fucking crazy.
Imagine if you started him.
Imagine. Boy, I'm telling you right now, looking at my bench just really chaps my ass. That is just the worst. All right, so anything else about these games there, Brennen?
No, we can jump into news and notes.
All right, let's do that.
All right. I'll start off here. Austin Eckler has no timetable for return. It seems more and more like a high ankle sprain, and they're just kind of hiding that aspect of it. You started Josh Kelly last week. I think the Titans have a really good run defense. I think this week they're playing the Vikings. He should definitely. I would start him this week again. If you have if you have Josh Kelly versus the Vikings, I would start him. I know it was a bad look last week, but I think he's going to be out for quite some time. That's unfortunate for the Eckler owners, but Joshua Kelly should be a start. Any thoughts, Ray?
Like you were saying, you already hit it on the head. I think that the Titans just have a good run defense, and I mean, there's nobody else getting work in that backfield right now.
Yeah,
but it was just tough sledding, and the Chargers are a very inconsistent team. So that's it.
Yeah, and then we talked about this last episode with me and Aaron. Saquon has an ordinary sprain, as was quoted by Adam Schefter, so he's going to miss 3 weeks. So, it is what it is. It happens. Luckily, it's not a high ankle sprain, but you got to do what you got to do with that.
Crazy, right? Like when you say ordinary sprain, I'm like, nah, that's 3 weeks. Is that an ordinary sprain?
I guess. I mean, if he goes back to Wakanda and gets some powers there, like he did like 2 years ago, whatever it was. So,
shut up. I hate you so much.
But we talked about this other one. Nick Chubb is done for the season. It's been confirmed by Stefanski. It's unfortunate. It sucks. It does suck. Another news: Amon-Ra dealing with turf toe, so be on the lookout for that for the practice reports this week. That's pretty serious. It's tough to play with turf toe, so that dude's pretty tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
your dad's Mr. Olympia. He can play through anything, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, this one really hurts. This
Yeah.
one really hurts. Brennen Ayuk didn't practice, so be on the lookout for Wednesday's injury report. That really hurts me. And the show because we're pro Brennen Ayuk all the way.
I think it would be a tough week for any of the San Francisco starters because the Giants' defense is so bad. And my prediction of that game, I think yours too, is that San Fran's just going to beat the snot out of them and then just drag ass for the entire game. Because the Giants, if the Dallas Cowboys defense did what they did, I can't imagine what San Fran's defense is going to do to them.
If you have San Fran's defense, they're a must start against.
No Saquon, like that O line is trash. Yeah, San Francisco in DFS should get you at least 20 points. And I'm not kidding. I think they will feast all game long.
Yeah. Last bit of news we had here. Tay did take a huge hit yesterday. Devontae Adams. I would just say monitor. Wednesday we'll talk about it some more. I know that the coach came out and said like he's going to be fine, but definitely something to look at. Monitor it. I don't think there's anybody else I'd want to start from this team, so that's about it.
Yeah, I agree. Jacoby Myers should probably be back this week. And he did get a bunch of targets and touchdowns. So, but just be on the lookout for that. You want to get into waiver wires?
Yes.
Let's do it. We're going to start with the running backs here because this is a very running back heavy waiver wire ad because of the injuries, unfortunately. You want to start it off here, Ray?
I do. If you're in need of a running back and the news hits you pretty hard, you're the Nick Chubb owner, Jerome Ford needs to be rostered, needs to be picked up, needs to be the number one target of you, the listener at large. Brennan, I'm willing to spend 60% of my fab.
I'm willing to go 75. If you do not have an RB2, I'm willing to sacrifice it because all right. I'm a little desperate in some leagues. I'll probably spend that much because I need it. And I do know there's a chance that they could add another running back. But Jerome Ford looked just fine tonight. He didn't look like Nick Chubb by all means, but he looked like he will be the lead back. And so I'm willing to spend quite a bit of fab for him. So, it's so unfortunate for Nick Chubb. Man, that makes me hurt. All right, next one, Matt Breida. Saquon's out. And if you do need a running back, he's going to get the work. He's done it before when Saquon's been out. Now, am I starting him against San Francisco's defense? That's a real question here. And I mean, if you don't have to, don't, because when in doubt, Thursday out. But how much fab are you spending on Matt Breida?
Not a lot because I just don't think that they have a tough schedule. They play against San Francisco this week. You're only going to really get him for 2 weeks, and then Saquon's going to be back if that's how long it's going to be. Maybe 10, 12%.
So they have 49ers this week, and they have the Seahawks next week, and then the Dolphins the following week.
The Dolphins is a nice matchup.
Yeah,
I like that. But Saquon could be back by then.
Yeah, it's a possibility because Saquon does heal quicker than most. So,
yeah,
Wakanda, of course. But just had to throw it in there. My apologies. The next guy I'm in there, Jaylen Warren. If he's not, he's probably drafted. But Jaylen Warren, I'm going to predict this rate. I think by week 6, he will have more percentage share of that backfield over Najee Harris.
I don't think they're going to do it. I just don't. They love Najee Harris. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
How much fab would you spend if he was available right now?
A lot.
You would?
Yeah, 30% minimum.
All right, fair enough.
A lot, because he looks better than Najee Harris. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that like Mike Tomlin or somebody in that offensive coordinating group loves Najee Harris, the one that's responsible for his ass being on the field, and he doesn't look good when he's on the field. He hasn't ever. So I don't know. We've all been off on Najee Harris, and I think that like it has shown. I'm going to take our victory lap early. He won't have that job next season. Is what I'm saying. But I think this season he still has it.
I agree. These next couple guys are kind of just like, shoot for the stars. Who knows? Tony Jones, he looked okay. So I don't know, depending on Jamal Williams' injury, it's only for one more week because Alvin Kamara comes back the following week. So if you're in need of a pinch, I'd spend like $5, 5%.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds
nothing
like
crazy.
5%.
Like the max, I'd go. I mean, if you really need to start, desperation. Another one, I think this is why I was tempering my expectations with Jerome Ford, because what happens if Kareem Hunt gets called to the Browns? What are you doing there with Jerome Ford?
See, that's the part that scares me about going all in on Jerome Ford, because if Kareem Hunt goes there, he's going to be the running back. There's not a question about it. He knows the system. He knows, the play calls and everything like that. He is on paper a better running back than Jerome Ford is on paper. But what we saw tonight, I thought Jerome Ford looked good. So maybe they don't do that. But that's what kind of tempers my go all in on Jerome Ford, and then Thursday rolls around and Kareem Hunt's on the Browns again,
Yeah, that's why but my other thinking too is that he did the Browns did Kareem Hunt dirty. So I don't know if he back, they'd probably pay a little bit more than they should for running back. So I was only thinking that too. And money talks at the end of the day. So they pay him money, he's gonna go. Yeah. Waiver wire ads for running back Zach Moss. I mean, he was on the field 90% of the snaps for the running back. So they play the Ravens next week. So temper your expectations, but again, 18 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown. I have a feeling Anthony Richardson might miss next week.
Yeah, I think so. Concussions are very, very hot topic kind of thing, especially with quarterbacks. I can't imagine he plays next week. But I mean, if he does, fire him up. But
yep, absolutely. And then we're getting to the wide receivers here. If Nico Collins for some reason isn't rostered, go spend a decent chunk of change. That's CJ Stroud's number one target, and it's crazy. How much fat spend on him if he's way available?
25%. If I need a receiver, 25%. If I don't need a receiver and I just want to get some depth, throw a 12 out there, throw a 15% out of there. At max if you don't need one, but you just want some depth. Okay. But if you're in need of one, I'm spending at least 25.
All right. Same guy or different guy on the same team though. Tank Dell. I mean, he was involved in the offense. He had more targets than Robert Woods. He looks very shifty, looks very crafty. How much fab are you spending on Tank Dell?
Much less, probably max. I'm going to go about 11 to 12%. That's the max I'm going to go.
Okay, I'm leaning a little more towards the single digits, 8.
8. I like that more.
Yeah, I think he looks good, but you just don't know with the Texans offense. I do think they're going to throw a lot. So, and then Josh Reynolds, he had the 2 touchdowns. He looks like the wide receiver 2 in that offense in the Lions. I know it's crazy, a little bit, stats for fantasy wise are a little bit, showboated a little, I would say, so to speak. How much fab are you spending on him?
Not a lot, 4.
Okay.
4. It depends, because honestly, probably nothing right now, and see if he'll go clear waivers. Okay. You can pick him up free after you hear, Amon-Ra might be sitting this week. Then that would be a good pickup. But the volatility of him being very touchdown dependent, and I think that Jahmyr Gibbs gets more and more involved, which means that's going to eat away at his work. It's not going to eat away at Amon-Ra's. Yeah. So, and then Sam Laporta being there, I don't like Josh Reynolds that much, and I feel like this is more of a flash in the pan kind of thing.
Okay, I agree with that. And then your guy here, you want to talk about him, Mr. Jaden?
Oh,
Reed.
Yeah. Jaden Reed. Yeah. So I'm not going to spend a ton of fab on him. I'm going to spend, $2 or $3. If you got a roster spot, I think he needs to be rostered. He is heavily involved in that offense. He is the motion man in that offense, and he's on the field right now 60, 75% of the time. So I can't see, let's say Christian Watson goes down again. Let's say Romeo Doubs goes down again. He is going to be a part of that offense, and he looked damn good against AJ Terrell and a good defense in Atlanta.
Okay. So you wait for your waiver wires clear before you spend any kind of fab on him?
Yeah, I could see that happening as well. But like, if you're in a deeper league or a competitive league with, a decent sized bench, I'm gonna spend a little bit. I said like maybe $3 or $4. Throw that in there, see what happens.
All right.
If you get him, you get him. You don't, you don't. Oh well.
All right.
But I'm not saying he's a league winner by any means, but I do think that he can be plugged and played. I mean, he has been involved as much as I think a rookie can be right now, and he's only going to get better.
Okay. Alrighty. Quarterbacks, there's really not much to, I guess, add because this week's a little interesting. Brock Purdy, if he's out there, he plays the Giants, so this game could be a running game for CMC, just runs wild, or it could be Brock Purdy throwing for 4 touchdowns in that horrific secondary. I wouldn't mind if you started him this week. It is what it is. And then the next one is Kenny Pickett. They play the Raiders. Raiders don't look good, and I wouldn't mind. It looks like Kenny Pickett. I think if there's a game for him to look good, so
I'm not sure if something's going on your end right there, Brennan, but you're cutting out pretty hard for me. I'll add one more name. I know that Jordan Love's most likely now rostered, but if he's not, he's available to stream, I think he's fine to stream against Saints defense.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Apologies for that. And then for tight ends, Aaron's big fan of this guy. His name's Hunter Henry. You should definitely add him. He's definitely the number 2 target in that offense.
Yes.
And then last one is Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta is a rookie tight end, but he's on the field at all times. So I'll take my chances with someone to be on the field at all the times, even if he only gets 4 receptions.
Yep.
So,
and then for defenses, if Pittsburgh's out there, snag them. Take a look at whoever's playing Chicago right now. Snag them. Trying to think of somebody else right now if they're playing against the Jets offense right now, they're like one game away from imploding.
Yeah, that whole team is very. I don't know if you saw. Sauce Gardner said that he wasn't the reason that CD got all those catches. It was his bum ass teammates who couldn't guard him, and then deleted the tweet. It's not looking good in New York.
No. It's not good.
No. And then you got your boy Brees Hall tweeting 4 football emojis for the 4 attempts that he had. Yeah, it's a wild time in Jets land over there.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I can tell you right now that Robert Saleh is going to lose that locker room in one more game if they do not try and get somebody other than Zach Wilson to throw the ball.
Yeah, I think the team is just done with Zach Wilson. I think they just they tried it. He won that game against the Bills. Congratulations. Reality set in really quickly because the Jets just own Josh Allen.
I guess so. Yeah. But everybody owns Zach Wilson.
Alrighty. Ray, one last thing before we go. Who is one player that you can drop right now? No questions asked.
Ooh, that's a toughie right now. Look at you, hit me with the toughies. Let me think about it for a second. There's a few names that come to mind. If it's not slanderous things, because I'm going to slander Michael Thomas' name every time I get a chance. But I would say right now, Elijah Moore.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. That's tough. I think my cut candidate is Jerick McKinnon.
Yes, Jerick McKinnon, or right now Isaiah Pacheco.
No, you can't cut Pacheco. No way.
You're not starting him.
You're not starting him, but you're not going to cut him though, because I'd pick him up in a heartbeat if he's on the waiver wire. If I saw Pacheco on the waiver wires, I'm not looking to go grab him. So, another name I consider cutting. Shoot. Let me go through my teams here.
Antonio Gibson is another name that I've.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson is for sure. I think he's for sure a cut candidate.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Let me look around a little bit here, just so you brought that up. The names. Yeah, Kadarius Toney could be a cut here. I don't want to start any of the. I don't want to start any of the Kansas City Chiefs receivers. I really don't. Not one part of me thinks that that's gonna come to fruition. Is Dalvin Cook a cut candidate for you right now?
No, he's a hold. Unfortunately, you're gonna wait and see what that what that team does. I mean, you're hoping for a new quarterback, and there's one name I'm going to throw out there, Zachary Charbonnet.
I have another name to throw out there. Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, honestly, dude, if I saw Kyle Pitts, I wouldn't. It's a sexy name, but you're thinking to yourself, "Am I really going to start Kyle Pitts?" Kyle Pitts.
He's my number one candidate right now. Kyle Pitts. Let somebody else jump on that grenade. Okay. There's nothing that I want to do with Kyle Pitts.
Speaking of tight
that's
man, George Kittle.
No.
Okay, all right.
You're not cutting. You're not cutting George Kittle. That's never. Right. Name alone says you can trade him.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the line. I think that's where the line stops for me.
All right.
Odell too. You can cut Odell.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can cut Odell.
Agree with Odell. Yep.
And I think that after David Montgomery doesn't play next week, he's definitely going to be on your bench for a while because Jahmyr Gibbs is not going to lose that job.
I think David Montgomery is going to be that Mahomes type role in that backfield. He's going to get touchdowns on the goal line. So if you're looking for touchdowns, he's going to be the guy.
Yeah. And Elijah Mitchell's a hold, I guess, but I don't want to.
He's a cuff. If you have CMC, you want Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all I have.
That's all I have too.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, if you stuck around this long, please make sure that you hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. Let us know what you guys are thinking in the comments. We really appreciate all the support that y'all give us, whoever's watching right now. But whoever's watching at this point, thank you so much for the support that you give us. Brennen, anything else?
I've got nothing.
All right. Until next time, guys, we will see you